Be me, 28 data analyst, corporate drone extraordinaire. My life is a comfortable spreadsheet of aggressive mediocrity. I arrive at 8:58 a.m. I vanish at 5:01 p.m. The absolute peak of my existence is my corner desk by the window. It overlooks a loading dock dumpster, but it has natural sunlight. I have a system. I have absolute peace. Until she arrives. Management decides we need a new efficiency manager. Enter Sarah. The click-clack of her designer heels echoes through the bullpen like a death knell. Sharp blazer, sharper jawline, dead eyes. Day one, she walks right past the 3 empty executive offices. She stops directly at my window desk. She claims she needs optimal ambient lighting for her workflow. Management immediately caves. I am evicted to the center aisle bullpen. My new view is the beige wall of the break room. I now smell microwave tilapia every single day at noon. I tell myself to let it go, collect the paycheck, stay invisible. Then comes the quarterly all-hands meeting. I stand up to present my standard data report. It's the same copy-pasted fluff I've served up for 2 years. Nobody ever reads it anyway. Except Sarah. She stands up, politely asks to hijack the projector, and dims the lights. She fires up a slide deck of pure concentrated malice. Color-coded charts, aggressive bar graphs, red trend lines pointing straight to hell. She systematically guts my entire methodology in front of 60 people. She uses a green laser pointer to highlight my casual inefficiencies. The regional director sits in the front row watching her. He is literally nodding along like a hypnotized walrus. I can feel the pity of the entire accounting department burning into the side of my face. She finishes her execution with a tight, predatory smile. I'm sure we can expect better from Anon in the future. I sit down, I nod, I smile a perfectly dead corporate smile. Inside, a dark, petty rage officially boots up. This is no longer a workplace. This is a war zone. I start studying her habits, finding the weak points. I notice she always wears thin, tailored blouses. I notice she rubs her arms nervously whenever the AC kicks on. I happen to sit directly next to the master thermostat lockbox now. I also know the building manager is incredibly lazy. The override pin is still 0000. Tuesday morning, I arrive 20 minutes early. I pop the plastic cover. I punch in the code. I crank that dial down to a blistering Arctic 62 degrees. The overhead vents roar to life. The floor turns into a meat locker. Sarah walks in at 8:45 a.m. Within 10 minutes, her teeth are practically chattering. She is forced to wrap herself in a hideous pill-covered fleece blanket just to type. I sit at my terrible center aisle desk, completely comfortable in my thick winter sweater. I catch her glaring violently at me over the rim of her cubicle. I raise my lukewarm coffee mug in a silent toast. But the Ice Queen isn't the type to just freeze and surrender. Friday, 4:45 p.m. My bag is packed. My mental health is scheduled to resume in 15 minutes. Slack notification pings like a gunshot. Sarah. Quick sync in conference room B. Urgent. Efficiency audit mandatory. I look at the door. I look at the notification. I enter the room radiating pure, concentrated malice. She's sitting there, back straight as a ruler, looking perfectly composed. She spends 60 minutes lecturing me on redundant data pathways. I stare at the back of her head, imagining her hair catching fire. She dismisses me at 6:15 p.m. with a patronizing pat on the shoulder. Have a productive weekend, Anon. Try to think about your workflow. The war has moved from the thermostat to the clock. I spend my Saturday plotting. I know her routine. She's a health-conscious decaf drinker. Monday morning, 7 a.m., I perform a surgical strike on the break room coffee station. I carefully open her artisan decaf pods. I replace the contents with Black Death triple caffeinated dark roast. I reseal them using a miniature heat sealer I bought specifically for this operation. 8:30 a.m., Sarah arrives and drinks 2 cups. By the 10 a.m. compliance seminar, she is vibrating. Her pupils are the size of dinner plates. She starts speaking so fast, it sounds like a swarm of angry bees. She's twitching. Her leg is bouncing with enough force to generate electricity. The regional director asks if she's having a medical emergency. She tries to respond, but accidentally snaps her mechanical e-pencil in half. The office atmosphere shifts. Factions form like a prison yard. The IT department is Team Anon. They start losing her support tickets. HR is Team Sarah. They start randomly auditing my lunch breaks. The Slack channels become a passive-aggressive DM wasteland. Screen caps of our per my last email exchanges are circulating like underground zines. The warehouse guys start a betting pool on who will snap first. Current odds, 3-1 that I get fired, 5-1 that she actually explodes. We trade glares in the hallway, like 2 apex predators fighting over a carcass. I think I'm winning. I think I've finally broken her. Until the VP of Operations walks onto the floor. He's wearing his "someone is getting sacrificed" suit. He looks at Sarah. He looks at me. He's holding a thick, ominous folder labeled Project Icarus. My stomach drops through the floor. He gestures toward the smallest, most unventilated huddle room in the building. Both of you, inside, now. VP Henderson drops the folder on the table like a guillotine blade. Project Icarus, he says, flashing teeth that cost more than my car. The board expects a miracle. You two are the miracle workers. He leaves before we can ask a single question. I open the folder. It's a graveyard of bad debt and fraudulent projections. The efficiency manager and the data drone are the designated fall guys. We are moved into Huddle Room 4C. It's a 4x6 glass box that hasn't seen fresh air since the Bush administration. The door shuts. The lock clicks. The silence between us is a physical weight. Day 1 is spent in aggressive mutual silence. The only sound is the frantic clacking of keys and the hum of the server rack. Day 3. The data is a nightmare. It's not just messy, it's intentionally obscured. Henderson has been skimming, and we're the ones holding the bag. I look at Sarah. She's vibrating again, but it's not the caffeine. It's pure, unadulterated stress. She looks at the whiteboard like she wants to headbutt it. Your pivot table is wrong, she snaps. Your existence is wrong, I reply, not even looking up. We're both running on 4 hours of sleep and vending machine honey buns. The room smells like coffee breath and desperation. Every time our chairs bump, it feels like a declaration of war. Day 7. Henderson walks by the glass wall. He gives us a thumbs up and a fake plastic smile. I see him checking his watch, probably counting down to our firing. The Ice Queen snaps. She stands up, knocks her chair over, and bolts for the door. I wait a few minutes, my own head spinning from the poison data. I find her in the emergency stairwell, 3 floors down. The ruthless efficiency manager is sitting on the cold concrete. She's not composed. She's not smug. She's sobbing into her knees, shoulders shaking. I stand on the landing, feeling the petty spite drain out of me. I reach into my pocket and find a crumpled, lint-covered napkin. I walk down the stairs and hold it out like a white flag. She looks up, her face a mask of ruined eyeliner and raw panic. He's going to ruin us, Anon, she whispers. We can't fix this. Nobody can. I look at her, really look at her for the first time. She's just as trapped in this corporate machine as I am. I sit on the step above her, the concrete chilling my spine. You're right. We can't fix it. She looks down, defeated. But we can make sure he's the one who takes the hit. She stops crying. She looks at the napkin, then at me. The Ice Queen finally cracks a real expression. It's a look of pure, dark, vengeful curiosity. We walk back into the glass box of Huddle Room 4C. The air is still stale, but the atmosphere has changed. The whiteboards aren't for quarterly projections anymore. They're for war maps. Sarah wipes away a stray smudge of mascara with the crumpled napkin. "If we're going down, he's going down first," she says. Her voice is cold, but the edge is directed outward now. I open the master spreadsheet. We stop looking for ways to save the project. We start looking for the paper trail of Henderson's consulting fees. It's a digital autopsy. She catches a discrepancy in the Q3 dividends within 10 minutes. "Look at this shell company, H Ventures," she mutters. I cross-reference it with the employee benefits payout from last year. It matches Henderson's middle initial and a defunct Cayman account. He didn't even try to hide it. He just assumed we were too miserable to look. Sarah lets out a sharp, jagged laugh that sounds like breaking glass. I wonder if he'd fit in the industrial paper shredder in the mailroom. I look at her, surprised by the sheer venom in her tone. "Head first or feet first?" I ask. "Feet. I want him to see his quarterly bonus disappear before his eyes." I laugh so hard I actually snort. On the quiet floor, it sounds like a gunshot. We keep working past 9 p.m. The cleaning crew eyes us through the glass like we're ghosts. I pull out my phone to order dinner. "No walnuts," she says without looking up from the monitor. I pause, finger hovering over the screen. "How did you know?" "I read your medical disclosure in the HR onboarding files. Efficiency, remember? I don't even find it creepy anymore. I find it impressive. Padsiyu, extra spicy, side of spring rolls, no cilantro," I recite. She finally looks at me, her eyes widening. "How did you know that?" "I've seen you throw away 3 lunches because they touched a leaf of soapweed." She actually smiles. It's not the plastic professional mask. It's a genuine, dangerous expression of shared understanding. We eat over the glowing monitors, the smell of ginger filling the tiny room. The data is starting to form a beautiful, career-ending noose. I realize I don't hate her perfect posture anymore. I actually kind of like how focused she gets when she's being spiteful. Her hair is messy. Her glasses are sliding down her nose. She looks human. She looks like an ally. "We have enough to bury him," she says, clicking a final damning cell. But the board won't listen to a drone and a manager they already blame. I lean back, feeling the adrenaline of the hunt. They will if we present it as a system optimization strategy. We spend the next 3 hours crafting the perfect ambush. At 2 a.m., her head starts to dip toward the keyboard. I watch her for a second, the light of the laptop reflecting in her eyes. She catches me staring and stays still. The air in the tiny room suddenly feels very thin and very warm. "What?" she asks, her voice low and raspy. "Nothing," I say, turning back to the screen. My heart is thumping harder than it ever did during our petty coffee wars. A notification pings on the shared calendar. It's an invite from Henderson for the mandatory corporate retreat next week. 3 days in the woods. Team building. Trust falls. "He's going to try to finish us there," Sarah says, her face hardening. I look at the invite, then at the data we've harvested. Let him try. The bus smells like stale ambition and fear. We're in the middle of nowhere, pine trees and mandatory fun. Henderson stands on a literal soapbox in the center of the clearing. He looks like a scout leader who hides bodies in his basement. "Today we build bridges," he shouts, clapping his hands. Then comes the pairing process. He looks directly at Sarah and me with a shark-like grin. "Anon, Sarah, you two need to learn cooperation more than anyone." The activity: a 3-legged scavenger hunt through the thick brush. A heavy nylon strap binds my left leg to her right. It's the closest I've ever been to her outside of a cubicle. I can feel the heat radiating through her leggings. She smells like expensive perfume and pure, unadulterated spite. "Step, hop, death," she whispers under her breath. We make it exactly 50 yards into the tree line. "The coordinates for the first clue are by the creek," I say, checking the map. Sarah looks at the mud, then at her designer sneakers. "Absolutely not," she says. We pivot in unison, a surprisingly fluid motion. We hobble behind the massive catering tent at the edge of the clearing. I find a hidden crate of emergency Pinot Grigio meant for the VIPs. I use a plastic spoon to pry the cork out like a primitive tool. We sit on a stack of folded chairs, legs still tethered together. We watch the IT department try to navigate a literal swamp. "Look at Jenkins," she says, gesturing with a plastic cup. "He's wearing cargo shorts with black dress socks and hiking boots." "It's a bold choice for a man with zero survival instincts," I reply. We spend an hour ruthlessly dismantling every coworker in sight. She makes a comment about the HR director's Botox that makes wine come out of my nose. The cynical shield is fully engaged. Then the sky turns the color of a bruised lung. A sudden violent downpour hits the woods. The team builders scramble like ants on a disturbed hill. We're trapped in the narrow space behind the tent. I find a stray golf umbrella leaning against the dumpster. It's barely big enough for one person. We huddle together under the canopy. My arm is draped over her shoulder to keep the rain off her. She leans into my chest, her head resting against my collarbone. The jokes die in my throat. The silence isn't the cold corporate kind anymore. It's heavy, loaded, static. I look down at her. Her eyelashes are wet. Her eyes are searching mine. I forget about the spreadsheets and the lawsuits and the spite. I start to lean in. She doesn't pull away. She actually tilts her head up. Our breath hitches in the humid, rain-soaked air. A heavy flashlight beam cuts through the gray curtain of rain. "Found them! Look at this incredible team-building spirit." Henderson is standing 5 feet away, drenched and grinning. He's holding a clipboard and looking like he just caught us committing a crime. The moment shatters like a dropped hard drive. Monday morning hits like a system crash. The office air is thick with unspoken words. I arrive early to avoid her. She's already there, typing with a ferocity that threatens the hardware. I sit at my desk and stare at an empty spreadsheet. We are both overcorrecting. I'm being professional, she's being efficient. It's a masterclass in pretending the other person is a ghost. Every time her chair squeaks, my spine stiffens. Every time I click my pen, she sighs audibly. The coworkers are circling like vultures. They smell the fallout from the retreat. I head to the break room to escape the bullpen's gaze. Linda from accounting is already there, lurking by the Keurig. She has the "I have gossip" face. "So, Anon," she chirps, way too loud for 9 a.m. "Word on the street is things got intimate in the woods." My heart tries to exit through my throat. "Henderson told everyone how close you two were under that umbrella." I feel the entire office listening through the thin walls. Panic.exe has stopped responding. I lean into the cynicism. It's my only defense. "Please, Linda, it was a tactical huddle, not a date. I was just trying to keep my project partner from catching a cold." The Ice Queen isn't exactly my type. I prefer people with a pulse. I laugh. It sounds hollow. Trust me, I'd rather date the industrial printer. Linda's eyes dart behind me. Her smirk vanishes. I turn around slowly. Sarah is standing 2 feet away. She's holding her favorite ceramic mug. Her face is a mask of corporate neutrality, but her eyes are glassy. She doesn't look angry. She looks wounded. It's infinitely worse than a shouting match. She pours her coffee in complete, agonizing silence. She walks past me without a glance. The air in her wake feels like a liquid nitrogen spill. The blackout begins immediately. No more snarky Slack pings. No more intentional thermostat adjustments. Just a void. I send a work-related email about the quarterly projections. She replies with a single word. Received. It's the coldest word in the English language. The office feels like a tomb. I find myself staring at the back of her head, wishing she'd throw a stapler. Anything is better than this corporate-approved exile. The silence isn't peaceful. It's crushing. I realize I've won the petty war. I've never felt more like I'm losing. I look at her empty desk after she leaves at 4:59 p.m. The Ice Queen has retreated back to her fortress. I need to find a way back in. Time to open the calendar app. Tuesday is a graveyard. Wednesday is worse. I stare at her empty Slack status. The Ice Queen has gone completely off the grid. Even the office feels bored. No more warfare, no more heat, just the hum of the HVAC and the sound of my own regret. I check her Outlook calendar. I still have editor permissions from the project files. She has a block at 2 p.m., internal strategy review. I highlight it and hit delete. New title, Anon grovels for forgiveness. Location, her cubicle. I hit save. I go to the Thai place down the street. The guy knows the order now. Drunken noodles, level 5 spice, extra basil, no sprouts. My hands are actually shaking as I walk back. I spend an hour in Excel. I build a pivot table of my own stupidity. I map the correlation between panic and saying dumb shit. I use the corporate font and official branding guidelines. It is a masterpiece of self-loathing. 2 p.m. sharp. I walk to the window desk. She doesn't look up. She's staring at a blank screen, pretending to be busy. I set the bag of food down next to her keyboard. The scent of basil and chili fills the air. I flip open my laptop and turn it toward her. It's a 3D bar chart titled Operational Breakdown of Anon's Social Awareness. The data is conclusive, I say, my voice sounding like sandpaper. I'm a massive idiot. She stays frozen for 5 seconds. Then, her eyes flick to the spreadsheet. She scans the columns. I see her fingers twitch. Your conditional formatting is inconsistent, she mutters. Her voice is low, but the ice is cracking. I was rushing, I say. Error margins were high. And the font size in cells B4 through B12? A catastrophic oversight, I admit. She finally looks at me. The hurt is still there, buried under layers of professional armor. But she sees the Thai food. She sees the stupid, perfect spreadsheet. 7 out of 10, she says, her lip doing that thing, the twitch, the almost smile. But the noodles are a 10. Sit down, Anon. We eat in her cubicle, sharing the plastic container. For a moment, the corporate world feels human again. Then the VP walks by, a greasy smile on his face. He looks at us like we're his golden tickets to a promotion. Glad you two are playing nice, he says, leaning on her desk. The board meeting is tomorrow morning. I've got a great presentation ready for our combined success. He walks away, whistling a tune. Sarah looks at the spreadsheet, then at me. He's going to try and take it all, isn't he? Not if my data has anything to say about it, I reply. The boardroom smells like expensive leather and fear. The VP stands at the head of the mahogany table. He looks like a peacock in a 3-piece suit. The board of directors stares back with dead eyes. Sarah sits to my left, spine like a steel rod. Her hand is steady on her wireless mouse. I'd like to walk you through my leadership process, the VP beams. Slide 1, a photo of him shaking a client's hand. Slide 2, my strategic implementation. He's talking about our project like he birthed it himself. He doesn't mention our names once. He takes credit for the pivot tables. He takes credit for the 4 a.m. breakthroughs. Sarah catches my eye. A tiny, predatory nod. The signal. I tap a sequence on my laptop. I'm hardwired into the conference system. The strategy slide disappears. In its place, a live-tracked metadata dashboard. It shows every edit made to the project files over the last month. Total hours logged. Anon, 340. Sarah, 355. VP's contribution, 0.02%. He sent one email asking where the bathroom was. What exactly are we looking at? The board director asks. The VP turns a shade of gray I've only seen in office carpets. He looks like a fish gasping for air on a dry dock. Just some background metrics, he stammers. Sarah stands up, her voice smooth as liquid nitrogen. Actually, that's the raw accountability audit, she says. We thought the board would appreciate total transparency on the ROI. She walks them through the real numbers. I chime in with the exact data points he tried to bury. We are a two-person firing squad in professional attire. The VP tries to interrupt, his voice cracking. The board director holds up a single finger. He's looking at us with genuine interest. This is the most honest reporting I've seen in a decade, he says. The VP slinks back into his chair, physically shrinking. Under the table, I feel a hand find mine. Not a romantic squeeze, a sharp, stinging, adrenaline-fueled high five. Her skin is warm. We walk out of the boardroom as the VP is asked to stay behind. The elevator doors close on his terrified face. We're alone in the lobby. The silence isn't cold anymore. It's vibrating. The holiday party is in 4 hours, she says, adjusting her blazer. I'm aware, I say, my heart hammering against my ribs. Try not to look like a depressed data entry clerk for once. She turns and walks away, her heels clicking a victory march. I watch her go, realizing I've been holding my breath. Tonight is either the end of my career or the beginning of something else. The hotel ballroom is a neon-lit hellscape. Cheap tinsel hangs from the ceiling like corporate-mandated joy. The regional director is 3 glasses of scotch deep. He's wearing a singing Santa hat. It's a crime against professional dignity. I'm hiding by the bar, nursing a gin and tonic. I'm wearing my only suit that fits. It's slightly out of style, but it'll do for my own funeral. Then the doors swing open. The room goes quiet for a heartbeat. Sarah enters. She isn't wearing the gray blazer or the steel-rimmed glasses. It's an emerald green silk dress. It looks like it was designed to start wars. MyBrain.exe encounters a fatal error. Internal cooling fans are spinning at maximum capacity. She spots me across the room. She doesn't wave. She just gives me that familiar sharp tilt of the head. 10 minutes later, we're in the service elevator. No one sees us leave. The roof is freezing. The wind howls between the skyscrapers. The city lights look like scattered data points below us. She leans against the concrete ledge. The VP's office was empty by 5 p.m., she says. Her voice is barely a whisper against the wind. Good riddance, I say. He couldn't even use a VLOOKUP. She laughs, a real genuine sound that isn't loaded with sarcasm. It's the most terrifying thing I've ever heard. We stand there in the cold, inches apart. I can see the goosebumps on her arms. You're staring, she says, eyes fixed on the horizon. Efficiency audit, I mutter, checking for anomalies. And? Anomaly detected. She turns to face me. Her eyes are bright, reflecting the office lights from across the street. You overthink everything, Anon, she says. It's my job. Shut up. She reaches out and grabs my lapels. Her grip is surprisingly strong. She pulls me down, closing the gap in a single, decisive motion. The kiss is a collision of coffee, wine, and 6 months of mutual hatred. It's intense. It's aggressive. It's perfect. I finally drop my drink and put my hands on her waist. The cold air suddenly feels like a furnace. We pull apart just enough to breathe. She looks up at me, her hair a mess in the wind. I still hate your choice of font, she whispers. And your quarterly projections are garbage, I reply. She pulls me back in for more. The heavy steel door to the roof suddenly groans on its hinges. A flashlight beam sweeps across the gravel. "Who's out here?" The office busybody calls out, stepping into the cold. We freeze as Linda's flashlight beam sweeps the gravel. Sarah violently shoves me backward into a humming ventilation unit. "If you ever touch my data sets again, I will end you," she screams. Linda gasps, turns, and scurries back down the stairwell in terror. Sarah looks at me, smirks in the dark, and straightens her dress. The cover story is officially born. Monday morning, the bullpen is buzzing with gossip. The rumor is we nearly threw each other off the roof at the holiday party. We decide to lean into it. Hard. At 10 a.m., she marches into the center aisle. She drops my weekly report on my desk, covered in aggressive red ink. "This is a tragedy of formatting, Anon," she announces loudly. The entire accounting department physically cringes. "Maybe if your workflow wasn't stuck in 2014, you'd understand it," I snap back. She glares. I glare. The air in the room turns to ice. She spins on her designer heel and marches back to her window desk. My phone buzzes in my pocket 10 seconds later. Sarah. Deep-fried meme about HR compliance. Sarah. "You look so stupid just now." "Come over at 7, I type back under the desk. "Order the Thai food. I'll bring the wine." The adrenaline of the charade is completely intoxicating. We become the undisputed apex predators of the office. Coworkers literally detour through the break room to avoid our crossfire. We start scheduling weekly hostile alignment meetings in huddle room 4C. To the outside world, it's a brutal, hour-long clash of corporate egos. To us, it's an hour of making out against the humming server rack. I learn that her dead-eyed corporate glare is actually her deciding what's for dinner. She learns that my aggressive mediocrity is just a shield. Together, we are a two-person cartel quietly running the operations floor. 6 months later, my apartment lease finally expires. We are standing in her pristine, terrifyingly organized living room. I am holding a cardboard box full of my terrible coffee mugs. She points to a very specific, taped-off corner for my inefficient clutter. I drop the box, pull her by the waist, and kiss her. She complains about my hands wrinkling her blouse, but she doesn't pull away. Tomorrow, we will go to the office and verbally destroy a junior analyst. We will trade death glares over the cubicle walls. We will keep everyone in a state of perpetual, terrified anxiety. The corporate drone life was supposed to slowly drain my soul. Instead, it gave me the ultimate co-pilot. Turns out, hell isn't so bad when you find the right person to burn it down with.